17 years old in high school, I got in that trouble. I got 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors at 17. My charges would be expunged if I joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah, because you can make, well, there's a lot of fat fucking losers that make a lot of money, but they're miserable people.
So somebody pushed me off into entrepreneurship. I had all the fears, even though I had a dad that was an entrepreneur. So I said, hey, I made 45 grand on my first house.
Welcome to Underload. Today we have Austin Hancock on the episode, entrepreneur, business owner, and he's about to go underload. We're starting with seated hamstring curl. We're gonna be doing a tempoed movement, kind of warming the hamstrings up. This is gonna be where we're warming up. We got some lighter questions, but we're gonna be doing 12 reps, 3-second eccentric, 2 hold, 1 second down, 1 hold. That's the goal, all right? And then whatever weight we can do to make that happen. I'll control it, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. Let's get you set up, let's get you in here, let's get a warm-up set going. Rest period is 90 seconds. That's when you're gonna get hit with a question.
You got me all the numbers, he's gonna ask me a question.
Exactly.
Damn, bro. This is a
I'm the
brain
math guy.
exercise.
You got this. And at the end of the day, you're gonna have a good workout anyway.
Hell yeah,
all right?
absolutely.
And I'll have you have like a little bit less straight on that knee. We'll come right there. We're on set 1, but I'm wondering how long the hoodie's gonna stay on, because it's gonna get hot in here. Yep. There we go. Yep. We just control that tempo. 7. The tempo we're going at, he's gonna get worn down because he's not gonna be able to just kind of relax after the stress on the body, the stress on the mind, and then boom, right back into it. So this should be interesting. Good, we got 1. And rest right there. Who was Austin as a kid and growing up?
Man, I grew up a really traditional freaking middle-class life, you know, playing baseball, had a great family, great parents, still married, riding bikes, you know, ramping over each other, throwing rocks at each other, you know, having fun. Like, I think I like to think of it as like, we've all seen the movie Sandlot. I kind of grew up that life, you know, I played baseball. My dad would take me to work. My dad owns a construction company now, and that's what I did. And so I did that all the way up until about started getting hormones at 16, 17 years old, and then I started getting a lot of trouble. And I grew up in Oklahoma, so I grew up in the Bible Belt.
A lot of like-minded people in the same area?
Yeah, a lot of like-minded people, good people. Grew up, you know, going to church on Sunday, doing the whole 9. My parents are really straight-laced for the most part. Never grew up with alcohol in the house, anything like that. And so at like 16, 17, I started to test all those things.
Did you have that big-ass dog from the Sandlot?
No, I didn't. Well, actually, yeah, I did. I have an American Bulldog, but that was later in my life, yeah.
What about like, was there like a scary dog in the neighborhood?
No, there wasn't.
We had one of those.
There's some scary old Karens. That's about it, bro.
Who was the person who you'd say most kind of shaped you into an adult?
Man, obviously my parents at first, right? I mean, they're influenced massively, and then, shit, movies, man. Movies, you know, I'm born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s and 2000s, so, you know, freaking The Goonies. And then as I got older, you know, Arnold, you know, freaking all those movies, Rambo. I wanted to be in the military for a long time, so all the war movies, huge war buff, huge war movie buff. I was always into the history. I was checking out books like Navy SEALs, Rangers, all that shit when I was a kid at the library. So I was hardcore into like the commando lifestyle. I had made my own ghillie suit at like 15 years old. We'd play paintball in the woods and shit. Yeah, so my life was shaped by that. And then as I got older, you know, obviously you're shaped a little bit more about your friend circle. And then I had some older mentors once I got into the gym, but that's more towards like my late teens, early 20s.
While you're still out there or after you came out?
So I joined the Marine Corps at 18 years old. And then so I had already started working out. So I started lifting at 17. So my senior year, I stopped doing cross country, track, and wrestling because I did sports my whole life. So I got out of cross country, track, and wrestling, dropped it all. I started picking up the weights and going to the gym and trying to get bigger, you know?
Yeah. Did Austin at 18 years old imagine life now the way it is? Or did you have a different route in mind or vision at that time?
I don't think I've had that far of foresight. Not at that age, you know? I always knew what I liked, you know? I think, I mean, I was growing up watching Motorcycle Mania, Jesse James, all the West Coast guys, all the stuff that was cool as shit back then, you know? Then it was Monster Garage and like I was always into off-road stuff. I had a lifted truck at 16.
Did you get along with your dad, or was it like the Tuttles on Orange County Choppers?
No, I got along. I got along with my dad. My dad was kind of like that. Like I grew up in a family where throwing fits is a big deal. Like that was a thing. Yeah. Like my dad's throwing monitors across the.
Oh damn! So
yeah,
that was similar.
Punch holes in the wall, but not necessarily from me, but just like from work, growing up in the office and shit. So that was very normal. My family's pretty dramatic when it comes to that kind of shit. I come from construction. You know, my grandpa's gotten in fights and job sites when I was kids and shit, and I was around. No, not this far. I think I only really led with about. You only get to see like a vague picture of what you want to do, right? And then you're still molding it, especially in your teens.
Like have a family.
I didn't even think about that. I knew that's kind of what I wanted to do, but that wasn't what was important to me at that time. I mean, I was thinking about joining the military, freaking doing all that, being a commando, man. I didn't really think about having a wife and kids at that point in my life. That's funny, but I knew it would happen, but I was thinking more about like, hey, I may not make it to freaking 25, you know?
Yeah. You do real estate, but like what? Like what specifically? What do you like to do? What are you best at?
So a lot of what I do now is I provide affordable housing. Okay. And I'm not talking Section 8, so I'll provide houses and then essentially we'll carry the loans on those homes. So I used to own a ton of rental property. I still own rental property, single family in the Midwest. And what we do now is we'll essentially finance it. So I do that, I run that operation. I have a huge portfolio there with my assets. And then I also have another service business still in Oklahoma. And then I do a lot of education. People ask me when I started doing real estate investing before I was a builder. So I used to do ground up development. Yeah. And they're like, why'd you switch? And so people started asking me, how do you do real estate like that? And so I started educating people on that.
Seminars type things?
And then it kept going because I realized that I would teach people about money, but they also needed to change a lot of other habits in their life. And so it would be more of a well-rounded men's group of people just doing better for themselves financially and physically and mentally.
You can't just give somebody money.
Yeah, because you can make, well, there's a lot of fat fucking losers that make a lot of money, but they're miserable people. And I got to surround myself in those circles by being around entrepreneurs. Yeah. But you get to see both sides. I always tell people this. When I would go to the gym, because I was in the gym almost my whole life, when I started making money, the gym guys would talk shit on me. Like, oh, you're going to buy another fucking car and kind of like poo-poo on it, right? Because they're insecure. But they're jacked, right? They're maybe top tier CrossFit guy or whatever. Yeah. They want what I have. And then I'd go to these entrepreneur things and they'd be like, hey, you're not going to stick around? What, are you going to go to the gym or something? So I was like, what the fuck, bro?
I don't fit in anywhere. I don't fit in anywhere here. I'm going to create my own space. Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so now this is where things start getting a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We're going to be breathing a little bit more. We still only got 90 seconds on the break. Okay. So that question is going to be answered, but your heart rate's going to be up.
12, you said?
12. 3.
Ah, hell yeah. I ate oatmeal before I came in. I knew what I was up against.
We're starting to get him a little uncomfortable. His legs are fatiguing, and he's starting to use the muscles that he's used to firing with. So we're trying to get him out of these abductors in the middle where his power is and put him in his quads. So that's why the weight isn't as heavy, but his body and his mind want to fire with the inside. For work, your career, everything, you came from a dad in construction business. Yeah. Then you went into the Marines, came out of the Marines, and we're like, now what? Like, how did you pick this path?
I mean, I think what most people do when they have family that's maybe entrepreneurs or even just any career, you kind of fall in suit with what your folks do, you know? Got out of the Marine Corps, I started working for my dad again, you know, pulling rebar, concrete, labor hand, hourly, whatnot. I'm full of fucking piss and vinegar at the time I get out of the military. Dad's like, ha, ha, ha. You know, I'm like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. Yeah. He's like, nah, this is my business, you know, type thing, which I respect. And so, actually somebody at the gym, one of my mentors, about 10 years older than me, so I went back to working out in my old spot, and he was like, you should start your own business. So somebody pushed me off into entrepreneurship. I had all the fears, even though I had a dad that was an entrepreneur. My dad's also an engineer by trade, so he's very risk averse, right? As engineers should be, we don't want bridges to fall. Yeah. So he's really risk averse. My buddy was like, no, you should freaking go do it. And I was like, okay. So I said, hey, I'm gonna do this. And I built my first house. So I became a builder first, which transcended from me knowing all the trades and knowing how to do that type of stuff. And then I started coordinating it all together. I made 45 grand on my first house, net profit. And I was like, holy shit, that's how money's made, not just hour. Yeah.
So from the outside, if I'm looking at Austin, I'm like, damn, this guy's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. Yeah. He's got a Lamborghini. He lives in Del Mar. But like, what is it about your job, what you do, that people don't know that's like brutal?
And at every level, there's new devils, you know? So you're always pushing yourself. I mean, if you're not pushing yourself in some capacity, then just like what he's doing to me right now, right? Yeah. You have to be open-minded, and when you start trying new things, you suck. Exactly. And so like moving was a big thing. I moved here 2 years ago, you know, with my family.
The entire family?
Yeah, I don't have family out here. Yeah. So I think this is a cliche thing. If they're an employee, they see the employer as like, he got this new car, but they don't ever know like that somebody maybe having to stretch credit cards to pay payroll. Yeah. Yep. And so I've had many times like that. Not necessarily so much now, because I've learned those lessons the hard way. And so people don't know, even though somebody may have a $10 million business, they still may feel broke when business isn't doing so well. I mean, there's $100 million businesses that go bankrupt with board members. Yeah. So it's always something hard. Most people don't have the ability to regulate or handle that type of stress, and that's why they'll never get there.
It's a belief system in yourself, like, hey, I know what we can get through, I know what I'm capable of, and I just got to put my head down and do it.
And it's learning. The only time you really completely fail is if you just give up and go quit and do nothing else. But you know, working out in general, and I love this topic because we're talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about working out, and I correlate a lot of those to the same. You don't get fucking huge overnight, you don't get ripped overnight, you don't get rich overnight. You know, sometimes you can work really hard and never look like you want. So rewind a little bit. At 17 years old, in high school, I got in that trouble. I got 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors at 17. I got in a fight. I wasn't like drug dealing or anything like that. I was just a fucking, you know, somebody's gonna throw bows, I'm gonna throw bows back. Yeah. That was kind of our thing, you know? But I used a tire iron this time, and so that ended up getting me some trouble. And then I went to county, and then just for the night, no like prison time or anything stupid. But I was like, oh shit, especially coming from where I come from. It's like you knew better, bro, you know? I was fortunate. One of the guys I was working with in construction, working for my dad, but I was working next to the guy, right? He's like, you should go join the Marine Corps. I was like, well, all right. He's like, go talk to the recruiter. Don't tell anybody. Don't ask your parents and everything. Just go. You fucked up enough. You've done a bunch of things. Go do something like that. That was really good advice because too many times we go ask people, or I'll tell you, hey, Mike, I'm thinking about doing something. But what I'm looking for is affirmations and permissions from you for me to do something with my life.
Justify.
So I learned that really early. And I was like, fuck, that was really good advice. Dude, I go to talk to the recruiter with my attorney, and I got my charges would be expunged if I joined the Marine Corps instead of going to juvie, because I was looking at doing 6 months in juvie. That's because I was 17, I was a youthful offender. I was right before 18. I was like, fuck yeah, I can do what I wanted to do, and I can do this. And plus, Iraq's going on at the time, right? Heavy, so everybody's getting pumped out. I joined the Marine Corps, and they did it, and then I went to boot camp.
We were in the military. Yeah. What's a crazy, awesome story, anything that you want to share?
So there's a week called Hell Week, and that's when your drill instructors pick you up, and you get your actual drill instructors. That day, there's Black Friday. It's the day that they like, well, I'm your drill instructor, blah, blah, blah. And they just thrash you the whole day. They're trying to mentally fucking you up, throwing all your personal belongings, spitting on you, pushing you, testing your like mental capability during a stressful situation. Okay. People are freaking out, kids are crying, everybody's losing their shit. And there's this dude on the 3rd deck. I just see him right in front of me. I'm carrying this footlocker, and he freaking head first tries to commit suicide right out of the top deck of the barracks to kill himself. People are losing their mind, right? They've never been under this type of stress. Yeah. And so he like tries to kill himself. He lands like 15 feet from me, and I'm carrying my footlocker in and out because they're like just games, man. You can never win these games. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 18, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? This drill instructor is about your height. Yeah. Drill instructor's literally about your height, and he's like, good, fuck that guy. And I was like, oh my God, we're all fucking dead, bro. What did I sign up for?
Worse than jail.
Yeah, of course you got a medic over there, a corpsman over there, and shit like that. But I was in my head like, oh motherfucker, it's about to start, you know? That's just a good boot camp story.
We work with and are sponsored by Optimum Formula, like a peptide company. Yeah. Do you take peptides at all?
Yeah.
What do you take?
Oh man, I'll fucking probably throw money against the wall and taking them all.
I mean, I obviously.
I've done a lot of them, and then I like see what works and what doesn't work. Right, I mean, I grew up when pro hormones were on the shelf at the local nutrition place, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think like I tore my quad actually on this exact hack squat.
Oh, no way.
He was there.
Yeah, dude, I was spotting him. 9 plates.
Nine plates on each side.
Last rep though, got halfway, started to rumble, and he still finished the rep, so that was good.
But I started Wolverine stack, and I was back to like squatting 5 weeks later.
Oh yeah, BBC 157, TB 500.
Yeah. So that was why I asked. Like as we get, I'm 41. How old are you?
38. We'll be 39 next month.
42.
Yep, 43.
So obviously we have to focus on recovery,
100%.
health. So
yeah, no, super. I mean, one of the freaking craziest stuff. I tell people it's like the closest thing to getting fast results is testosterone. The first time you inject testosterone is retatrutide, man. Yeah. I mean, that's mind blowing. I don't know how many years you dieted without that type of shit, but it is totally different world.
I'm 6 weeks from a show right now.
Yeah.
And Retta, like obviously with like the insulin sensitivity and helping with like nutrition, and then I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
which you usually just pissed, bro.
That's a biohack for sure. I'm like,
total hack.
I'm 6 weeks out. I would usually be like
Yeah,
my
just
cardio
mad,
piece, I'm
bro.
just chilling.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a reason why I was like, no, get out of your adductors. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We're about to get in them.
Yeah, we're about to get in them. So you didn't want to go like that. Adductor, wider. I say just high enough to where you feel like your quad isn't the mover.
Okay.
I don't want you just all the way up. We just want to get to the point where adductor is kind of pulling us into hip flexion. You can toe out, knees pointing the same direction as the toe, but we want to be like wider and higher so the adductor does hip flexion and adduction, which is what it does. All right. How are your legs feeling?
Fucking fire, bro.
Okay.
Fire.
And it doesn't look like it is. 6, 7, 8. Come on. 2. Good. 3, 2. One more. Lock it out.
What do you believe about how to live that a lot of people around you don't?
I don't know, I'm a firm believer in like we only have one life. You know, people, I guess it's a good one. Most people don't go and live their life.
Yeah.
They think they're going to one day. I mean, I come from Oklahoma and we'll talk about people. If you don't like where you live, that's the simplest thing. Most people still won't move.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my job, my mother-in-law, my kid's school, my kid's friends,
An excuse to stay where they're at.
whatever it is.
Everything in life.
Yeah, you don't like your job, you don't like what you do, if you're not living out what you feel you should be doing, then you have to put a massive amount of action behind it. Because I never understood, like, what else are you fucking doing? Like, are you just like watching the game or what? I don't know what other people do. Like, I want to just live my dream.
Yeah, or wait, like, oh, I'm just gonna wait till when this happens, then I'll.
I got caught in that a little bit with social media,
Which maybe you kind of did too, maybe not, but I did a little bit because I was like, I was a builder when I was starting it. And I was like, well, when I move into that new house I just built, when I get that other car, like I was like measuring where my success was, because who are you to talk about business if you don't own a $100 million, building company or a real estate portfolio? So I would shrink and I would wait and I would wait and I would wait. But I think that was the wrong thing to do, and I regret it now.
It's that quote that we use a lot where it's like, familiar strongholds are really like prisons in disguise. Like we get to the point where it just is so familiar that you don't see that it's a prison. If you're in that prison, how do you know?
Where did the belief come from that we just kind of talked about? Kind of like believing in yourself within you? Did mentors?
I guess truly within me, because my parents are more conservative. Like, I think I believe way bigger than they do. No hack on them. I don't know, man. Maybe I've just been punk rock. I grew up skating, and it's like, I don't want to fucking listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anti-authority. I don't know. I guess I'm delusional enough to believe, like, we're only given this time. Like, so what are you going to do? Shape the life, build the life you want. Don't complain about it.
Take risks.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think a lot had to do with me going to war at like 19 years old, like going to Iraq and knowing what was going to happen and shit, signing my own will, all this types of stuff. It was like a perspective of like shit, like you may not live.
Yeah,
like,
you experience a lot what a lot of us don't. That didn't go into war.
Well, I don't think anybody, there's probably many people that have almost near-death experiences type things, but they don't really reconcile it or have the chance to think about it, I think. But, what else are you going to do? I remember that mentor I told you at the gym. He's like, start an entrepreneurship. I had all the fears and the doubts. And he was like, dude, didn't you just get back from Iraq for like 2 years ago? And it kind of clicked with me that I was like slapped in the face. He wasn't in the military or anything.
Yeah.
He was,
But
I was
saying,
like, what are you scared
look
of?
what you've been through
He goes,
already.
what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess I moved in with my parents and my fiance's either leaves me or I'm a loser. He's like, that's it? You're fucking like 26, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't give him, that's what he said. And I was like, wow. But sometimes it takes somebody outside to be like, dude, you're just being a fucking pussy about this. You should do something. Like, live your life. And the worst case scenario is always bigger in your mind.
When no one's around, is Austin the same Austin as in, live Austin? Or is there, parts of you that kind of come out?
My wife says she's like, you're more off camera than you are on camera. I don't know why. I just, like.
Tone it down for.
Unintentionally.
Okay.
There's a little bit of thought process, for sure. And things can be taken wrong, So there's a little bit of that business PR you think about.
You run it through the parental guidance filter.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's also probably what keeps people from blowing up, like good content too, My life and my businesses are all in one.
Okay.
I don't have I tried that for a long time and I see people still trying that. But I think when they separate those two, that they end up, I know people that like after their kids leave, they get divorced because of it. They don't have anything in common anymore.
When you were growing up, what was and when was like your first addiction?
Alcohol. 100%. Yeah. That was my first thing. I got like I said, I grew up in a house with no alcohol. Saw my friends' dads have some drinks, but they weren't crazy. They're good dudes, have some beers after a dinner or whatever. So my conception was like growing up very Church of Christ, very alcohol's forbidden, all these things are forbidden, hell and damnation. I was like, got old enough where I was like, I'm gonna test if this is right, you know, and push back on some of the system. So alcohol was definitely probably the first bad vice, and that's what got me in trouble. I mean, I was drunk as a skunk when I got in those fights and shit. You know, I was at a party. I was at a college house party, bro. Yeah, it wasn't like during the day and the car stopped or something. No, it was a house party. I got fucking jumped in the backyard. I come back to get revenge, and all hell broke loose. So, plus I was just at that time in my life too. I mean, I was lifting a lot of weights, and I was around a lot of dudes and taking pro hormones and shit. So I just freaking testosterone through the roof. I mean, what's crazy is like I go to the Marine Corps. I just become a better at drinking. Like it didn't go away, but I was like, I felt like I was a black sheep, which I was, getting in a lot of trouble, doing these stupid things. But when I went and harnessed that energy in the Marine Corps, it was like, welcome, bro. We're gonna do this together. You know, you punch me, I punch you, and we'll figure it out. We're all heading the same direction. I was like, fuck yes, this is my place, bro. So it was a blast.
So Austin is now entering phase 4, and this is where we're gonna hit him with the big, deep questions and really get down to the root of some darkness.
Oh, bro, it's fucking heavy.
Roll with them. Roll that up. I don't want it to swing.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. But
10, 11. There we go. Come on. 11.
Brah.
we've already hit everything. He's back in this center quad, firing right through the middle with the feet dorsiflexion, just crashing him right now.
How many more?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, bruh. Yeah, that'll cook you.
All right, I want you to take me there. What was the darkest time you've ever experienced?
I've never been one of those people that's like been depressed. I guess as dark as I've ever really gotten is just feeling super responsible for people that were employed by me, making financial mistakes in business, trying to figure it out. There's no fucking manual. And having a wife with 2 young kids, and my kids are 13 months apart. I just remember not being able to sleep, right? I'd stay up till like midnight, and then I would wake up at like 3, get on the treadmill. And what I did and what helped me get out of it, dude, is I was listening to audiobooks. I listened to like Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink was one of the first books I could click with, because it wasn't just some business nerd. It was like a guy that was in the military and like done some stuff, so I respected. And it was like, dude, and what I learned from that is like, if you've caused all these problems, you can also be the solution. In a lot of industries, what does everybody do? They blame somebody else. I can't do this because the plumber. The floor would be flat if the concrete guys weren't fucking idiots. And so that's like the whole aura. Like their whole conversation every day in construction is like, how can I blame somebody else? Then how can I blame the weather?
For my shortcomings.
How can I blame that? Then how can I blame the president? How can I blame interest rates? Like everybody's blaming. That's just like conversation. So that really took me away, because that's how I grew up. That's construction. And so I was like, fuck, if I got us here, I can get us out. And so I started taking more responsibility of my life. I think it affected my wife a lot more than she let on, because she just knuckled in and figured it out. But later on, she was like super stressed out about it. Because I would talk to her about what was going on, which may have been a mistake at the time, because I'm like, I got these credit cards, I'm freaking low paying the shit out of them to pay payroll, figuring stuff out, making mistakes I just didn't know. I'd say a lot of vets struggle with like, what's their next mission when they get out? So I got out and I just went back to construction. I remember just feel like stuck. I was operating skid steer equipment. I'd be welding, and I didn't have control of my own time, even though I worked for family. My dad's like not cutting me any slack or shit. I'd be like in Podunk, Oklahoma, doing some dirt work, and I have to come back, and it'd be like, leave at 6 in the morning, come back at 7 p.m., whole day's cooked, driving a skid steer, or a gooseneck with a truck out there. And I just remember being stuck, moving dirt pile from here to here, and I'm like, this is what you've amounted to? Like, this is it? That was the most trapped and scared I ever felt. That's when I started to ask those questions to dudes at the gym that were like, bro, start your own company, do something else, stop bitching about it. And that helped a lot. But as far as like having a next mission in the military, I feel like guys feel lost, especially like infantry dudes or special operations dudes. They don't know what else they're gonna do, because nothing applies to the real world, and they've been sold this like, go to college, go to these types of things, and then nothing's exciting. I think anybody that's served in the military in some capacity and had a lot of experience, like fun shit, is like, civilian life is fucking boring. Like there's just not as many dopamine hits and adrenaline rushes and go, do this. And so it did for me too. So I started going back to drinking and back to starting the same problems before I had kids, before I got married. And so I even went and volunteered I went to rodeo school in Rose Hill, Kansas to try to learn how to ride bulls, because I just needed some kind of dopamine hit, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, when like you're doing shit that's like near-death experiences a lot, you kind of get addicted to that. And that's why dudes would deploy so much back to back to back. And the society's telling them like, just stick with it for 40 fucking years, bro, and you'll be fine. Yeah, and retire and die, exactly.
That dark place that you were in, doing the same rat race basically, moving dirt and everything. What would you now, give that guy advice.
What's your version of success? Like, everybody's version of success is different, and then you need to apply that, kind of like we talked about earlier. Don't measure from somebody else's version of success. Like, what's success to you? What do you want? You know, and then have no limits. Most of us place limiting beliefs on ourselves based on our surroundings, based on our own financial status, based on our parents' financial status or genetics or where we grew up. And so throw all that away. Like, dream big enough, just build crazy enough that you can start adding these things together. And then just like working out, I mean, this guy's helping me a ton right now. You guys are both. Is like, one piece at a time, you start to build that confidence. Oh man, I made more money this year than I ever thought I would, or I did that one thing, or I quit my job, and then compound it, and then that compounds and builds confidence for you to be able to continue to do more things. And along the way, you'll meet people like we meet here today, and new opportunities arise, and you're the person that's meant to have those opportunities. So yeah, that's why I was saying a second ago with real estate, it's like, I've seen people happier and thank me more by not getting their first deal and making 50 grand or 30 grand or whatever, but when they like change their lives to become the person that can actually go do the business, you know, they can believe that they can go do these things. When it comes to money, right, not everything's created equal. So if you want to go put together freaking bologna sandwiches, you're not probably going to be worth 100 mil. So like, you need to make money in some capacity. So there's only a few financial vehicles that will get you to those goals. So if you have success that you're like, I want a yacht, I want this, I want to be able to provide my family with X, Y, and Z, then it really narrows down what you should be doing in order to get to those things, because most things won't get you there.
11. One more. Last rep.
Austin's gonna go home tonight. He's gonna have short shorts on with this massive leg pump.
Hell yeah.
Wife's gonna be like, dude,
Damn.
dude, look at those things.
Hell yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, bro, let's see if my legs are big or not.
Hell yeah, dude.
They're all right.
I think we got a pump.
I gotta get those, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, bro. Absolutely.
All right, guys, we just finished leg day, Austin. How did that go?
Good, it's awesome. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
blast. You always get pushed harder when you have somebody that's experienced, good trainer, knows what they're talking about. You know, it's hard to push yourself sometimes in those dark days, you know?
I think you did awesome. Nothing really to the point out as far as your mechanics, but just making sure that we're isolating everything perfectly. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
good job. Like I said, Optimum Formula, big sponsor for us. Mike's got the shirt on. I got the jersey on.
Always repping it.
One of our main guys came through and dropped you off a jersey.
Oh, awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
got an Optimum Formula jersey.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
At some point.
Hell yeah.
Don't look better than me, please. All right. Thank you to Austin. Thank you to Mike, Joel, our cameraman. Big shout out to Optimum Formula. They're one of our sponsors. They're a great peptide company, great resource for us. Also, Anabolic Insights. They do our blood work. They also are giving our guest a blood panel. So we're gonna get him that. Thank you so much for joining. Tune in again. We're gonna go right back here at the compound to bring you another underload.
So Austin, how do we find you on social media? Where?
Instagram, austin.hancock1, and same for YouTube.
Also, he's got a podcast. Yours truly was on it.
Yeah.
What's that one called? And how do we find that?
The Outsider Show. So you find that on YouTube. We're also on Spotify.